right, this is CS50, Harvard University's introduction to the intellectual enterprises of computer science and the art of programming. And ordinarily, we would all be here on campus in beautiful Sanders Theater together. This, of course, is a little bit different this year for more than one reason. But we're here instead in the Loeb Drama Center at Harvard University. Thanks to our friends in collaboration with the American Repertory Theater, we have this new space, including even such amenities as a prop shop in back, where we've been working with an amazingly talented team over the course of the summer to prepare for this semester and CS50. And so I dare say we'll have some new and improved demonstrations along the way. So our thanks to our host, the American Repertory Theater. Now, we wanted to evoke memories, at least, or some imagery of the campus itself, particularly for the many of you who could not be here in person this semester. And so we went into the Harvard archives, where among their collections was this watercolor painting, painted by a Harvard graduate student over 200 years ago in the year 1794. Jonathan Fisher, who sat in what is now Harvard Square looking in on some of the earliest buildings of Harvard's campus. And thanks to technology, we took what is a relatively small watercolor that this graduate student painted some 200 years ago and now adorns the stage here in the Loeb Drama Center. So if unfamiliar, we have Holden Chapel here at left, Hollis Hall to its right, which is one of the undergraduate dormitories in Harvard Yard, Harvard Hall, which is one of the classroom buildings on campus, and then Massachusetts Hall, where both first years and Harvard's president live and work respectively. So welcome then to CS50, and I can say that not quite as long ago, but nonetheless feels rather long ago. Some 20 years ago, did I take this same class? But as you know, I myself had some trepidation when it came to studying CS50, when it came to studying computer science, because it was a very unfamiliar field. I had followed a path when I got to college of sticking within my comfort zone, studying government early on, thinking I would major or concentrate in government. And it wasn't until I got up the nerve to shop, that is, sit in on this class CS50, that I realized that homework can actually be fun. And I found that computer science and CS50 is not about programming per se, even though that's how many of us perceive it in high school, whether it's us or our classmates taking the class, but it really is about problem solving. And as such, it's so very applicable not only to computer science and the engineering fields, but really to the arts, humanities, social sciences, and beyond. And so if you're feeling a little uncomfortable with the idea of taking a class like CS50, know that most every year, nearly 2/3 of the students who take CS50 have never taken a computer science course before. So if you look up, down, left, right now, odds are more than many of the classmates joining you here today are in a very similar position. You're indeed in very good company. And what's ultimately important in CS52, we emphasize, as in the syllabus, that what ultimately matters in this course is not so much where you end up relative to your classmates, but where you end up relative to yourself when you began. Indeed, taking into account where you currently are, perhaps with no prior background, and considering where you will be in just 3 or so months, is ultimately meant to be the measure of your own success. And so toward that end, we'll start off this class programming a little something from yesteryear, an image here of Super Mario Brothers and the pyramid that the character has to ascend. We'll recreate a portion of this game, albeit using text, otherwise known as ASCII art, but we'll do that in just the course's second or so week. So this will be among the first programs you write, and then fast forward just several problem sets or programming assignments later, or several weeks later too, and you'll be building what we call CS50 Finance, a web application of your very own that runs on the internet, pulling down nearly real-time stock quotes from a third-party service.